It's back, it's bigger than ever in ARK, in the world of ARK. It's never been a thing that's not been a thing in ARK. DDoSing has been prevalent in the world beyond even online gaming, and it's still as prevalent now as it's ever been. Unfortunately, right now, Wildcard, ARK, Nitrado are all being hit pretty severely and have been for the last month. So this particular scenario, most ARK official servers have been down and will be down for up to 36 hours by the time this video goes out. And it's great to see actually some honesty from developers Studio Wildcard that this is a DDoS attack. Obviously, it's embarrassing to admit it, and who wants to raise exposure to a scenario such as this and give even more attention to the attackers that are causing this? And rightly so, a lot of people are angry. The Discord, the official Discord, is perhaps the most toxic it's ever been. There is a lot of people unhappy, a lot of people pointing fingers at Nitrado, at Wildcard, at ARK, at anybody they can, because they're angry, they're unhappy, they can't play on their service, right? It's going to make for a definite torch and pitchfork scenario. A lot of people out there are going to be very angry at the world. I don't doubt people are already commenting angry things in the comments right now. But there's a big problem surrounding this, and that's not even who's doing these attacks, because it could be any manner of people. There's some rumors it might be some megatribe out there that doesn't want another megatribe hitting their servers, and that's why over the last few weeks it seemed to suggest it was particular areas of servers, EU servers, that were being targeted in those scenarios. But it seems that a lot more widespread servers are being hit this time around. And it could be anyone. It could be some salty teenager in his room that got dev wiped recently and just wants to have the last laugh because they can, which is wild. Why can they? In 2025, why can't they? DDoSing is, in most countries, an illegal practice. You are breaking the law if you're doing this. But I guess let's roll this back a little to what I'm sure a lot of people are asking: what is a DDoS? What does it stand for? What does it mean? Well, DDoS stands for distribution or denial of service, and in fact was an evolution of denial of service, simple denial of service. And I think it's good to probably dial it back to what denial of service was back in the day, and maybe try and explain in some layman's terms that helps even me understand. So once upon a time, it was really simple. You had you, and maybe you annoyed somebody out in the wider world, and because you had a tiny, barely running on barely any internet PC, let's call this a dodo, and somebody out in the world who wasn't happy with you and wanted to DOS you, and let's use a pego for an example of that person, they would have a giant PC, a mega giga sized PC, and would send information to your PC to overburden it and eventually shut it down because it was just simply a much powerful PC than yours. But the world's moved on a lot since then. Internet is everywhere now, in every single device that you own, and that has in turn caused a lot of issues because attackers now can target any unprotected series of machines, not just PCs, not just even mobile phones, just your general day-to-day appliances that use internet, like fridges or clocks. Anything that sends information over the internet is a possible target for an attacker to use now, to hack into, and then use that as a service to send information to its desired target. And since the dawn of ARK, DDoSing has been nothing new. I had servers that got DDoS in the past. I've heard many stories of it happening. It's always been prevalent throughout the entire history of ARK. Though in those scenarios, it was simply your server. It was particular servers. It was an IP that was being hit through this process, with your nameless attacker using their bots that they'd hacked into to then target your server and send so much information, so many packets of data from all of these different bots to then overwhelm your server and bring it down. And what we found following that was your server hosting company that you probably rented your server through would bring in some DDoS protection. They'd learn over the years, and they definitely did learn over the years, in shutting down each and every connection that was being sent through these bots. Nitrado even have a lengthy page explaining different types of DDoS attacks and what they attempt to protect, which brings us on to today's scenario, because Nitrado is the exclusive server hosting company for all ARK official servers. And this new wave of DDoS attacks aren't directly targeting the servers, they're directly targeting the server provider. In this case, Nitrado, whom I believe has a third-party DDoS protection company called Cloudflare. And up until now, it's been fine with Cloudflare targeting each and every bot when they attack specific servers. The problem now is that these new DDoS attacks are using so many bots. They are far too many for any service like Cloudflare or Nitrado to combat. They don't have enough rock golems or tech turrets to deflect all of the scouts trying to make their way and overwhelm the network. All they can do is attempt to take out each bot piece by piece by piece by piece until there's not enough scouts out there to overwhelm Cloudflare and Nitrado. And that's it as far as I understand it. There is no better solution currently. There is no way to resolve, and in a game that requires an internet connection to access you to send information to connect to it, it requires information being sent to it. And as long as it's an online game, DDoSing will continue on. There is no resolution to it. What needs to happen now? There needs to be some heightened FBI level security type of defense that's able to pinpoint these attackers that are, as I said, very, very clever on hiding their identity. They would make sure they aren't being traced in doing this because of how illegal it is. And whilst, yeah, I see the finger being pointed at Nitrado and this being the result of having an exclusive contract with just Nitrado, it's not the point really, is it? It's still an illegal practice that shouldn't happen. It's still a practice that is so prevalent and so vulnerable that it can happen to anyone. It doesn't matter whether it's Nitrado, it doesn't matter whether it's Gport, it doesn't matter who the service provider is. It's a real dire scenario to occur and still ever ongoing. It's frightening in 2025 how easy it still is to DDoS. So what can be done? Nothing. There is obviously one solution that Wildcard seem to be looking at, and that's changing the IP addresses, changing the server locations, so these attackers haven't got that information to target these new servers, the new locations of where your official servers are hosted. And whilst I'm sure every effort is being made to make sure these new server locations aren't as easily reachable, aren't as easily discoverable, they will eventually be discovered too. This is a lose-lose situation. There is no winners here. And it doesn't matter that it's ARK. It doesn't matter what game it is. This can happen to anyone and everyone. And rightly so, you should be angry about this. But don't point the finger at Wildcard. Don't even point the finger at Nitrado, believe it or not. There is nothing big enough in the world to defend DDoS attacks because there are so many different devices out there that can send information through the internet. There is too many in the world to defend against. It's embarrassing. It's terrible. It's ridiculous that we're still here 10 years on into ARK's life cycle of suffering DDoS attacks. But again, this isn't just us. Every game, every online game has these issues. It just takes that one salty individual with enough resources to be able to amass enough bots to DDoS anyone they choose to and hold them to ransom until their resources have either ran out or each and every factor has been closed down Nitrado's end. There is no solution. You're going to be angry. I'm going to be angry. Anybody that's been affected right now is going to be angry about this. It's just unfortunate. It's reached a point now where it's attained some notoriety that it's raising exposure to this. And whoever's doing this might even watch this video and be laughing their head off, might be watching all of the information, all of the reports within the Discord, laughing their head off about that, and could open up the door to the next wave of trolls, because if they're getting some infamous exposure over this, why doesn't the next person do it, right? A dire situation to be in, with no real solution apart from an insanely high-level Big Brother-esque FBI type of investigation that's able to find out who exactly is doing this stuff and making sure they are sent to prison, because this is prison worthy. It's illegal. Don't do it. Don't look into this. This is a terrible part of the internet world that unfortunately is affecting ARK right now. And unfortunately, we just have to grin and bear it. That's it. It's a waiting game, and fingers crossed something gets resolved soon. Look, you all wanted me to do a video on this, and I have, and hopefully there's more educational people out there that could feed more information to me. I know there's some great points of references, like Pirate Software's Thor, or The Man Who Can't Do a Viral Video Computer File, and I'd encourage you to go and watch those videos if you want more information on understanding DDoS and how it functions and why it can't be resolved. Why? It can't be defended against. Now, in this 2025 world, ARK is held to ransom by hackers. Insane. My name's Raasclark. Don't forget to like, share, and subscribe, and as always, peace out.